The Star Wars universe is one filled with epic space battles, tense lightsaber fights, and thrilling discussions about the taxation of trade corridors. Which, yes, admittedly is a pretty odd thing to focus on, but this is a universe of incredible depth, filled with interstellar megacorporations vying for political clout, and trillionaires accumulating wealth amongst the stars, all putting their hard-earned credits to use helping the galaxy towards civil war, or feeding dancers to their exotic pet rancor. But who out of all of the weird and wacky inhabitants of this galaxy far, far away is the wealthiest of them all? Well, join us here today at Lore Tours as we take a look at 5 of the richest beings in the Star Wars universe. Now only here could a species of oversized lethargic slugs rise to become some of the wealthiest and most powerful criminal groups in the galaxy. The Hutt crime families, collectively known as the Hutt Clan or the Hutt Cartel, are a coalition of influential Hutt species families that have risen to become some of the wealthiest criminals in the galaxy, the most notable of these being Jabba the Hutt. But how did they get so wealthy? Well, the Hutt species can live for around 1,000 years, meaning Jabba, born 600 years before the Battle of Yavin, has had centuries longer than most beings to slowly build up his resources, and an intricate network of criminal enterprises. During the High Republic era, hundreds of years before the Clone Wars, the Hutt crime families had built up control in their own region of space, between the Mid-Rim and the largely unexplored Outer Rim territories of the galaxy, meaning that they were primed for expanding their influence over the frontier worlds of the Outer Rim, which at that time were largely isolated and yet to make contact with the core worlds of the Galactic Republic, making use of this influence over hundreds of worlds, each serving as a haven for the galaxy's scum and villainy. The Hutt crime family began to dominate trade and criminal enterprises in the region, relatively free from the might of the strengthening Republic. And of the Hutt crime lords during this golden period, the one who would rise to become the most powerful was Jabba the Hutt, forming a criminal empire built off the back of arms dealing, bounty hunting, slave trading, gambling, and most importantly, the trade of the addictive drug, spice. Now, working out the combined asset value of a notorious and secretive crime lord is never going to be easy. It's not like he's going to regularly file his accounts with Republic auditors. It was, however, estimated by Earth-based media outlet Forbes that the slimy slug's net worth is around $8.4 billion US, but that was based solely off his assets on Tatooine, such as his luxury sail barge and palace on the northern Dune Sea. Converting this sum to galactic credits, though, is near impossible due to the lack of a standardized exchange rate between the two universes, and Jabba's wealth is likely to far exceed just those assets on Tatooine, seeing as his criminal empire spans multiple star systems. Now, next on our list is another villain, albeit one with a bit more flair. Count Dooku, scion of a affluent family, pupil of the wise Master Yoda, really had all the advantages to get ahead in life. And that's what he did. Disillusioned by the ways of the Jedi, he left the Order to reclaim his title and vast fortune, ready to lead the Confederacy of Independent Systems during the Clone Wars. But where does his money come from? Well, as the leader of the noble House Sereno, rulers of the lush and vibrant planet of the same name, Count Dooku had access to the vast resources of the prosperous planet, which was the only known source of the incredibly rare and strong metal ore, scanium. After taking control of the planet from his unpopular brother, Dooku solidified his control on the world, converting the military to obedient droids, oppressing both the other noble houses and the general populace, as well as imposing hefty taxes designed to hoard the world's wealth as a war chest to help fund the war to come. The exact wealth of House Sereno is not known, but it's said to be one of the largest personal fortunes in the galaxy. At one point, it was believed that Dooku was considering buying 10,000 Jedi Killer 13 security droids, each costing 80,000 credits, a sum totaling 800 million credits or a fleet of 13.5 Venator-class Star Destroyers. Any existing wealth belonging to both Sereno the planet and the noble family was only boosted in the years preceding the Clone Wars, when when Dooku began to assume a leadership role amongst the disillusioned worlds and galactic megacorporations that would form the Confederacy of Independent Systems, granting him access to not only the resources of each world to join the alliance, but also the incredibly wealthy and powerful corporate entities who dominate trade and manufacturing in the galaxy. Corporate entities like the Trade Federation, who, coincidentally, are led by the next entry on our list, Viceroy Newt Gunray. The Neimoidian business executive led the interstellar trade conglomerate during its most profitable period towards the end of the Galactic Republic, essentially a collection of major commercial, financial, manufacturing and shipping companies who had united for protection against space piracy and to promote as a united front their combined interests. The Trade Federation's wealth stemmed from its extensive control over interstellar shipping and trade routes, producing and shipping everything from energy and precious metal ore to weapons and food, by monopolizing key trade corridors throughout the galaxy and imposing strict tariffs. The Federation amassed both significant profits and hatred from many galactic citizens due to the increased price of goods. As a result of their vast galactic influence, the Trade Federation were able to accumulate enough wealth to maintain a private droid army capable of planetary invasions, construct their own fleet both of commercial vessels and war vessels, like the Luca Hulk-class battleships, each costing 500 million credits, and influence planetary economies by coercing planets into favorable trade agreements, often under threat of blockades or economic sanctions. This economic power also brought with it a degree of political clout, allowing the corporation to have representatives in the Galactic Senate and halt any attempts to try Viceroy Newt Gunray for war crimes. One of the Trade Federation's fellow seedy business groups is next on our list, the Intergalactic Banking Clan. Led by the Core 5, a council of executives who ruled over the organization from the planet Scipio, home to the intelligent but greedy Mun species, who made up the majority of the Banking Clan leadership, including the group's chairman, San Hill. The Banking Clan was an immensely wealthy commerce guild which essentially worked as a central galactic bank. The Banking Clan's wealth originated from its extensive banking operations, which encompassed many different avenues, including facilitating the movement of incredible amounts of credits, data, and other forms of currency that flowed through the galaxy, charging fees on these transactions, funding business ventures in the frontier of the Outer Rim, such as offering high-interest loans to settlers and corporations looking to set up mining on new worlds. This would later become a much more successful enterprise, with even the Galactic Republic and Confederacy of Independent Systems seeking out loans to fund their forces during the Clone Wars. The Banking Clan also owned a number of corporate holdings, including investments in various sectors, such as subsidiaries like the Corellian Chemical Corporation and Sinar Fleet Systems. Their influence over galactic finances would rise to such prominence that, upon leaving the Erodium currency standard, the Republic would seek the assistance of the Banking Clan to build a reserve of credits to ensure the galactic currency remained strong. While no exact stats on their wealth is available, the Banking Clan were known to control both many worlds and their own military, known as the Intergalactic Banking Clan Collections and Security Division. It consisted of the Mun Officer Corps, an army of IG series battle droids, IG-227 Hailfire-class droid tanks, and the Magna droids of the Iotran Guard. Among the worlds the Banking Clan took up residence on and essentially controlled included the crystalline planet of Megito, the Cyblock Intergalactic Storehouse Space Station, the Mun homeworld of Scipio, home to their main vault, a fortified facility housing vast reserves of credits and valuable assets, and another Mun planet, the mineral-rich Manilist. During the Clone Wars, the Banking Clan sided unofficially with the Confederacy of Independent Systems, enabling them to build and sustain their droid army by providing substantial loans that some members of the Core 5 had no interest in seeing being paid back. Despite its support for the Separatists, the Intergalactic Banking Clan's importance to the galactic community allowed them to maintain official neutrality, continuing business with the Republic, although often at increased interest rates, reclaiming any profits lost through their loans to the Separatists. All of these individuals and groups, however, pale in comparison to the wealth of Emperor Palpatine. Born into the noble house Palpatine on Naboo, Sheev Palpatine's early life was characterized by political ambition and a keen intellect. He served as Naboo's ambassador in the Galactic Senate, where he cultivated an untarnished public image, all while secretly training under Darth Plagueis as the Sith apprentice Darth Sidious. His dual roles allowed him to manipulate galactic politics and eventually rise to become the Emperor of the Galactic Empire. Now, as a member of an affluent noble house, Sheev Palpatine has never been short on money, but what sends him straight to the top of our list is the fact that he has complete control over near enough the entirety of the galaxy. In fact, by the time of his rise to Emperor, he controlled the wealth and assets of most of the other entries on this list. With the conclusion of the Clone Wars, the Empire swept in and nationalized the Trade Federation, then took control of the Banking Guild, allowing it only minimal autonomy. So as he wielded absolute control over the Empire's economy, Palpatine could essentially write a blank check to pursue any goal he wanted, which he did do, as exemplified by the astronomical spending conducted by the Empire on things such as a vast armada of warships, including 25,000 Star Destroyers costing 150 million credits each, a sum totaling 3,750 billion credits. Then when you add in the cost of the Death Stars, each costing over 1 trillion credits each, all really just highlights how far ahead Palpatine is compared to the others on this list. But one thing each of these entries has in common is that every one of them, afforded wealth beyond the wildest dreams of most citizens, chose not to help their fellow man, droid, or Biff. They instead sought out more wealth, more ways to boost their power, and more ways to exert their will on others. Is it that wealth corrupts, or is it just that in the Star Wars universe, it pays to be evil? What do you think? What would you use the vast galactic treasury for if you were to become Emperor? Make sure to let us know down in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell to join us again soon. Until then, catch you next time.